Hey everyone, Jason here with Mindset Monday number 6. Today I'm going to be talking about the choice to be offended. It is ultimately a choice if we get offended by something that somebody has said or done. Now, right off the bat, I'm not condoning insulting people or saying things or doing things with the intent of causing mental or physical harm to other people. But this is more of just a video to help you cope with other people that might not be saying nice things towards you, where they're coming from, and what that could mean to you. So, in the last video I talked a little bit about how events that happen in your life are just events, and that you get to assign the meaning or the purpose of those events. So, two people might experience the exact same event in two very different ways based on their outlook and how they interpret it. So being insulted is much the same. There's a few questions you should ask yourself when someone has tried to insult you, or you believe they've tried to insult you. One is intent. If somebody is offering you constructive criticism and they maybe don't do it in the right manner, it can seem like a personal attack on you, and it's not. They're actually just trying to help you get better or help you advance in some way. So, I mean, a prime example would be a teacher that's helping a student with math. The student could be angry that the teacher's acting in a condescending way and telling them that everything they're doing in their mathematical equations are wrong, and they could be offended by that, or they could realize that the teacher is just trying to teach, trying to provide knowledge and education so that that person can get better at math. So there's a very fine line between constructive criticism and what could be construed as an insult. The other thing to consider is whether or not the insult is factual. So right off the bat, if it's not something that is factual, it probably won't insult you in the first place. So if somebody called me a little old lady, I'm not going to take a lot of offense to that, because obviously none of that is factual. So it's almost just comical. However, if it is factual, you then have to ask yourself why it is that you're offended by a fact. Obviously, there are attributes in life that are favorable and some that are less favorable, and people that are not in a good place of mind will try to pick on your self-consciousness or try to bring to light the negative attributes that you may have. But again, they're simply pointing out a fact. So if someone were to, example, tell me that I'm bald, which I am, they've simply stated a fact. If I choose to be offended by that, that's on me. I can just accept the fact that yes, I'm bald and move on from there. You also need to consider the person that is trying to insult you. If there's somebody that you look up to, that you idolize, that you have a lot of respect for, obviously what they say towards you is going to have a much bigger impact on you. And somebody that you idolize, that you do look up to, I can tell you fairly certainly that they probably are not trying to insult you. People that you idolize are usually in a good mental place, they're successful, they're happy with where they are, and those type of people don't typically insult people. So in that scenario, you might really want to question if the insult was actually just them trying to provide some value, some education, and they were just offering constructive criticism. The opposite is true, where if you have very little respect for that person and they're just a terrible individual, yes, they could absolutely be just trying to say things to cause you mental trauma. You really have to then question whether or not you care what they think. I have had people say negative things to me who are not people that I aspire to be or look up to, and I really don't care what they have to say about me. It has little to no effect on me. So those are some of the factors to consider. If it's truthful, Why are you offended by it? If it's coming from someone you don't care about, then why do you care about it? Is it constructive criticism that's being turned around to be viewed as an insult? So it is ultimately our choice to step back and look at the insult from a rational standpoint and say, are we being emotional about this? Or is there, are we overreacting and maybe this is not as big a deal as we're thinking it is? I have very, very thick skin, luckily, and it is almost impossible to insult me because of what I've just mentioned. And because of that, if people do try to insult me, which is not overly common, but if they do, I see it as an opportunity. If they have pointed out something that is factual, they have pointed out a shortcoming, they say, for example, hey, you're lazy. Well, maybe I recently interacted with that person in a way that made them think that I didn't live up to my full potential. I could have done better. And so I will assess and say, look it, this person thinks that I came up short on this one. I didn't put in all the effort I could have. Was there something I could have done better? Was there something I could have done to improve? And what lessons can I take moving forward so that I can not come across as lazy on the next interaction with somebody? So there's a lot of lessons to be learned from insults, but our immediate response is to get very emotional and defensive. And I think if we take a step back from that, let our emotions cool down a little bit and see if there's some value there. And worst case scenario, if it's just an insult for the sake of being an insult, personally, I find that is just motivation to prove the person wrong. People that doubt me or suggest I'm not capable of doing something, that's all the ammunition I need to then go and disprove them and blow their theory out of the water. So it's really the fuel I need to keep going. So that's today's message. Don't go out trying to be offended by people. Try to understand where they're coming from. And if they're just being nasty people, try to just avoid them. We all know those people, unfortunately. Definitely don't be one of those people. So that's this week's video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.